The colony ship Horizon drifted silently through the void. For 47 days, the ship had been without power to its main engines. What began as an exciting journey to humanity's newest colony had become a desperate fight for survival. Captain Eric Gardner stared at the status report on his tablet. The numbers didn't lie. Oxygen levels, 14 days remaining. Water recycling, operating at 63% efficiency. Food supplies, sufficient for 22 days at current rationing. He rubbed his tired eyes and set the tablet down on the small desk in his quarters. "Captain." To the bridge came a voice over the intercom. It was Stacy Martinez, the communications officer. Something in her tone made Gardner move quickly. The bridge of the Horizon was dimly lit to conserve power. Most screens were dark, and the skeleton crew worked by the glow of essential systems only. Martinez sat at her station, her face illuminated by her console's blue light. "What is it, Martinez?" Gardner asked. "Sir, I'm picking up something on long-range sensors," she said. Her fingers danced across the controls. "It's a ship, but it's not one of ours." Gardner leaned over her shoulder to look at the readings. Could it be from Earth? A rescue mission? "No, sir," Martinez shook her head. "The drive signature doesn't match anything in our database. And look at the speed it's traveling." The captain's eyes widened. "That's impossible." "Yet there it is," said a new voice. Dr. Alan Russell entered the bridge, followed by engineer Olivia Wright. News traveled fast on a ship filled with scared people. "How long until they reach us?" Gardner asked. "At their current speed, less than 6 hours," Martinez replied. Gardner straightened up. "Wake the senior staff, and let's prepare a proper welcome for our visitors, whoever they are." Word spread quickly throughout the habitat ring. The colonists gathered in small groups, talking in excited whispers. After weeks of dwindling hope, the possibility of rescue even from an unknown source brought renewed energy to the ship. In the medical bay, Dr. Russell checked on his patients. The ship's failing life support had caused an increase in respiratory problems, especially among the elderly and very young. "Is it true?" asked Pedro Garcia, an elderly colonist being treated for oxygen deprivation. "Have they found us?" "Someone has found us," Russell answered carefully. "We don't know who yet." In the engineering section, Olivia Wright briefed her team. "I want our systems looking as good as possible when they arrive. Julie, see if you can reroute power to get some more. Lights working. Ben, let's try to stabilize that oxygen recycler again." "Do you think they can help us?" Ben asked, his voice low. Wright hesitated. "I hope so, because I've tried everything I know, and I can't fix the antimatter containment system without parts we don't have." Captain Gardner gathered his senior staff in the conference room. "Options," he said simply. "We could try to hide," suggested Security Officer Frank Delgado. "Power down completely, drift silently, and die when our oxygen runs out?" Dr. Russell shook his head. "We need help, and this might be our only chance." "I agree with Alan," said Wright. "The Horizon is dying. Without external assistance, we won't make it another 2 weeks. What if they're hostile?" Delgado pressed. Gardner looked around the table. "Then we're no worse off than we are now. But let's not assume the worst. Martinez, keep broadcasting our distress signal on all frequencies. Right, give me as many sensors as you can. I want to know everything possible about our visitors before they arrive. Delgado, quietly prepare security teams, but keep them out of sight. Let's not appear threatening." As the hours passed, tension built throughout the ship. Children were kept in the central areas, away from airlocks and docking ports. Adults tried to appear calm, but many carried makeshift weapons, tools, and kitchen implements that might serve as protection if needed. In his quarters, Gardner recorded what might be his final log entry. Day 48 since the drive failure. An unknown vessel approaches. I've made the decision to welcome them, whoever they are. The 1,476 souls aboard the Horizon have no other hope of survival. If this is first contact with an alien species, I pray they come in peace. If not, double quotes. He paused. If not, let the record show we did everything possible to save our people. The unknown ship grew larger on the sensors. It was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Horizon, with an unusual, crystalline structure that reflected starlight in dazzling patterns. It moved with incredible precision, matching the Horizon's drift perfectly before coming to a relative stop 5 kilometers away. They're scanning us, Martinez reported from her station. Every frequency, every spectrum. Let them look, Gardner replied. We have nothing to hide. A new alert sounded on Martinez's console. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. Put it through, Gardner ordered. His heart racing. At first, there was only static. Then, slowly, sounds emerged that might have been speech clicks, whistles, and tones unlike any human language. The bridge crew looked at each other in amazement. There, trying to communicate, Martinez whispered. For several minutes, the strange sounds continued. Then suddenly, there was silence. When the transmission resumed, the voice was still alien, but the words were unmistakably English. Damaged vessel. We receive your distress signal. You are not recognized species in Galactic Union registry. Request permission to send boarding party for assistance evaluation. The bridge erupted in excited chatter until Gardner raised his hand for silence. This is Captain Eric Gardner of the Earth colony ship Horizon, he responded. We welcome your assistance. Our ship suffered catastrophic drive failure 48 days ago. We have limited life support remaining. Another pause then. Understood, Captain Gardner of Earth. Boarding party will arrive at your main airlock in 30 minutes. We are called Venlo. We come to help. Gardner turned to his staff. Well, it seems the universe isn't as empty as we thought. Let's prepare to meet our new friends. As the crew rushed to prepare for first contact, no one noticed the secondary communication being transmitted from the Venlo ship to distant points in the galaxy. Confirmation. Deathworld species has achieved interstellar travel. Survivors located. Far from designated quarantine zone. Requesting immediate guidance. The reply came swiftly. Approach with extreme caution. Deathworlders unpredictable and potentially lethal even when non-hostile. Evacuation authorized, but maintain biosecurity protocols at highest level. The Venlo ship's lights pulsed softly as it positioned itself closer to the Horizon. The humans aboard watched with hope and wonder, unaware that they were seen not as equals to be rescued, but as dangerous curiosities from a world that the galaxy had long feared. The first meeting between humanity and the galactic community was about to begin. Captain Eric Gardner stood at the main airlock with his senior staff. Dr. Alan Russell checked his medical scanner one last time. Security Officer Frank Delgado kept his hand near his holstered weapon. Engineer Olivia Wright watched the airlock indicators with professional interest. Communications Officer Stacy Martinez held a universal translator device she had quickly programmed with the few alien words they had heard. Remember, Gardner told his team, we represent all of humanity in this moment. The airlock indicator turned green. With a soft hiss, the outer door opened. The aliens that entered were nothing like what the humans expected. They stood taller than the tallest human, with slender bodies covered in iridescent scales that shifted color with their movements. Each had 4 arms ending in 7-fingered hands. Their heads were narrow with large, dark eyes that blinked. Sideways. They wore no clothing, but had various devices attached to harnesses crossing their torsos. 3 of them entered, and all wore clear masks over their face areas. They moved with a strange grace, as if the ship's gravity was stronger than they were used to. "Welcome aboard the Horizon," Gardner said, stepping forward with his empty hands visible. The lead alien made a series of clicking sounds. A device on its harness translated, "We are Venlil. I am Zuri, Science Mission Commander. These are my specialists Trill and Vos." Martinez's translator gave similar results, and she nodded to the captain. "I am Captain Eric Gardner. This is my medical officer, Dr. Russell, security officer Delgado, engineer Wright, and communications officer Martinez. We are humans from Earth." The aliens stepped back slightly at the word Earth. They exchanged quick glances. "Earth is known to us," Zuri said, the translator making the voice flat and emotionless. "It is classified as extreme danger environment. Death world." Gardner blinked in surprise. "You know about Earth? We had no idea other intelligent life existed until today. Galactic Union has observed your world for many cycles," Zuri explained. "Too dangerous for contact. Your gravity, atmosphere, temperature extremes, biological threats all exceed safety parameters." Dr. Russell stepped forward. "You're saying our home is dangerous by your standards?" "Most life evolves on stable worlds," Zuri said. "Moderate gravity, controlled climate, limited predator threats. Earth is exceptional. You are exceptional to survive there." The humans exchanged confused looks. To them, Earth was simply home. "How many worlds are in this Galactic Union?" Gardner asked. 342 member species across 812 worlds, Zuri answered. "Union spans 3 spiral arms of galaxy." The humans were stunned into silence. Humanity had barely reached beyond their own solar system, and now they learned they were surrounded by a vast civilization. "We should discuss your situation," Zuri continued. "Your ship is critically damaged, life support failing. We offer transportation to nearest Union outpost for repairs." "That's very generous," Gardner said. "But we have over 1,400 people aboard." The aliens made sharp whistling sounds that the translator didn't catch. Finally, Zuri spoke again. "Numbers are unexpected. Our scans detected life signs, but not quantity. This changes logistics." The aliens seemed to consider something. "We will contact additional transport vessels. Until then, we can provide emergency supplies to extend your life support capacity." "We would be grateful for any assistance," Gardner replied. "May we examine your vessel?" asked the alien called Trill, speaking for the first time. "To assess damage and compatibility with our systems." "Of course," Gardner nodded to Wright. "Our chief engineer can show you our systems." Wright led 2 of the aliens toward engineering, while Gardner took Zuri on a tour of the ship. As they walked, colonists stared openly at the alien visitor. Some children pointed and whispered. The aliens seemed equally fascinated by the humans. "Your species moves differently than expected," Zuri observed. "Very quick, very efficient." "Is that unusual?" Gardner asked. "Most Union species conserve energy, slow, deliberate movements. You are dynamic." In the ship's garden area, they paused. The space was filled with plants, a mix of earth vegetables and flowers, tended by colonists to supplement their food supplies and provide psychological comfort. Zuri moved closer to a tomato plant, studying it carefully. "Your vegetation is strange. Bright colors, strong smells. Those are tomatoes," Gardner explained. "A food plant. On most worlds, bright red means poison," Zuri said. "You eat this?" "It's actually very nutritious for us." The alien made a sound that might have been surprise. "Your biochemistry must be robust." In engineering, Wright showed the aliens the damaged antimatter containment system. The Venlil engineers clicked and whistled to each other as they examined it. "Your technology is Unusual, said Trill. Very mechanical. Very physical. Most Union species use biocompatible systems. Living technology. Living technology? Wright asked, fascinated. You mean organic computers? More than computers. Ships grown, not built. Systems that repair themselves. Wright shook her head in wonder. That's beyond anything we've imagined. After several hours of inspection, the aliens returned to the airlock. Before leaving, Zuri addressed Gardner. We will return tomorrow with supplies. Prepare your people for transfer within 5 days. Additional transport vessels are coming. Thank you, Gardner said sincerely. You've saved all our lives. Zuri made a gesture with 2 of its arms. Union protocol requires assistance to all sapient life, even those from deaf worlds. After the aliens left, Gardner gathered his senior staff. Thoughts? He asked. They seem genuinely willing to help, Dr. Russell said, though they clearly find us ... concerning in some way. Did you notice how they kept their distance? Delgado pointed out. They never got within 2 meters of any of us. And those breathing masks, added Martinez. I don't think they were for protection against our air. I think they were protecting themselves from us. Wright nodded. When I showed them our engines, they were impressed by the technology, but kept saying how aggressive our engineering approach was. Death world, Gardner repeated thoughtfully. They see Earth as an extreme environment and us as creatures shaped by that extremity. The question is, what does that mean for our future relations? That night, as the Horizons crew prepared for rescue, Zuri made a report to the Galactic Union Council. Humans display all signs of Death World evolution. Physical resilience, aggressive problem-solving, pack-bonding behaviors. They show no signs of the expected savagery, but their biology tells the truth of their origins. They are predators adapted to Earth's brutal conditions. The Council representative's voice came through clearly. Assess threat level. Currently minimal, Zuri replied. Their technology is primitive by Union standards. Their ship failed, but their potential is ... concerning. They adapt quickly. They collaborate effectively. They survived conditions that would kill most Union species. Recommendation? Zuri hesitated. Controlled introduction to Union society. Careful observation. These humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They come from a world that should not produce sapient life, yet here they are, traveling between stars. Proceed with caution, Science Commander. The Union will prepare for humanity's arrival. One ship of Deathworlders is a curiosity, a planet. Of them could be something else entirely. As the Venlil ship's lights dimmed for the night cycle, the horizon hung against the backdrop of stars. Inside, humans dreamed of new possibilities in a universe suddenly much larger and stranger than they had ever imagined. The journey to Outpost Serenity took 3 days. The humans from the horizon were split among 4 Venlil transport ships. Captain Gardner and 50 of his crew traveled on Zuri's vessel, while the remaining colonists were distributed among the other ships. Gardner stood at a viewing port, watching the stars streak by at speeds the horizon could never have achieved. The Venlil ship moved through space using technology the humans could barely understand. It's like we're children who just learned to walk, meeting adults who can fly, Olivia Wright said, joining him at the window. I keep thinking about what Zuri said about Earth, Gardner replied. Our home, a death world. What does that make us? Deathworlders, Wright said with a small smile. Sounds almost like a compliment. The ship slowed, and a structure appeared ahead of them. Outpost Serenity looked nothing like human space stations. Instead of the practical angular designs humans built, this station was a beautiful spiral of interconnected spheres and cylinders, glowing with soft blue and green lights. It's alive, Wright whispered. The whole station is partly organic. Zuri approached them. Outpost Serenity hosts 12 species from Union worlds. You are first humans to visit. There will be ... adjustments. What kind of adjustments? Gardner asked. Union species have different environmental needs, different social customs, different comfort levels with Death World species. The docking procedure was smooth and silent. When the airlock opened, Gardner was surprised to see a reception committee waiting. 6 different alien species stood in a careful formation. Some looked vaguely humanoid, while others were completely unlike anything from Earth. A short, round alien with green fur and 4 eyes stepped forward. Welcome to Outpost Serenity, it said through a translator device. I am Station Director, Prill of the Jonah species. Your situation is unprecedented, but the Galactic Union extends hospitality to all sapient beings. Gardner stepped forward as practiced. Thank you, Director. I am Captain Eric Gardner of Earth. We are grateful for your rescue and assistance. The aliens shifted slightly, some moving back as Gardner approached. The captain noticed, but continued. Smoothly. Our people will need temporary quarters while our ship is repaired. We will do our best to adapt to your station's rules and customs. Quarters have been prepared, Director Prill said. Your people will be given orientation on station systems and safety protocols. Medical evaluation is required for all arrivals. Dr. Russell joined Gardner. We're happy to comply with medical procedures. Our chief concern is compatibility. Our biology may be very different from Union species. A tall, insectoid alien with gleaming exoskeleton stepped forward. I am Chief Science Officer Kavax of the Trick. Your biology is indeed unique. We have studied the data from Zuri's team. We are prepared for your special requirements. The humans were led through the station to a section that had been prepared for them. Gardner noticed that other aliens in the corridors moved aside as they passed, some pressing against walls or ducking into side passages. They're afraid of us, Security Officer Delgado whispered to Gardner. We're an unknown factor, Gardner replied quietly. Let's give them time to adjust. The human quarters were spacious, but strangely designed. The beds were too large and too soft. The lighting was dimmer than humans preferred. The temperature was slightly too cool, but it was far better than the failing life support of the horizon. Over the next few days, the humans began to explore the station under the watchful eyes of Union security. The children adapted the quickest, fascinated by the alien environment and the strange creatures who inhabited it. 8-year-old Lisa Peterson made the first real breakthrough with the aliens. She was sitting in the common area, drawing pictures, when a small Jonah child approached, curious about her activity. The alien child watched silently until Lisa offered a crayon. Do you want to draw too? She asked simply. The Jonah child took the crayon carefully, then began to make marks on the paper. Soon the 2 children were drawing together, communicating through art when words failed. Adult aliens gathered to watch this interaction with amazement. A Venlo scientist recorded the entire exchange. The young human shows no predatory behavior, the scientist noted. The young human shares resources willingly. This contradicts Death World psychology models. In the station's science center, Dr. Russell was equally surprised by what he was learning about Union species. You're saying none of your worlds have large predators? He asked Chief Science Officer Kavax. Most Union worlds evolved with minimal predation pressure, the insectoid alien explained. Species developed through cooperation, not competition. Conflict resolution through communication, not physical dominance. Earth wasn't like that, Russell said. Our evolution was shaped by survival pressures. Predators, climate changes, natural disasters. Which explains much about human physiology, Kavax said, bringing up a holographic display of a human body. Your sensory reaction times are 30% faster than most Union species. Your muscle density is 40% greater. Your skeletal structure can withstand impacts that would shatter the bones of a Venlil. Russell looked at the display with new understanding. We never thought of ourselves as particularly tough. On Earth, we're actually quite vulnerable compared to many animals. Which is why Earth is classified as a death world, Kavak said. If humans are vulnerable on Earth, imagine how dangerous Earth must be to us. Meanwhile, Engineer Wright was making discoveries of her own in the station's engineering section. The Venlil and Jonah engineers watched with alarm as she casually handled power tools and equipment. You touch bare metal with unprotected skin? A Venlil engineer asked, horrified. Of course, Wright replied, confused. How else would I work? We use protective fields or manipulate our arms, the engineer explained. Direct contact is dangerous. For your species, maybe, Wright said. Humans are pretty durable. This comment caused the aliens to back away slightly. In the station's command center, Director Prill met with Zuri and other senior staff. The humans continue to display Death World characteristics, Zuri reported. They move quickly, react instantly to unexpected stimuli, and show remarkable physical resilience. Yet they also display unexpected social cohesion and empathy. Their children are particularly concerning, another alien added. They engage in what appears to be mock combat as play behavior. Their laughter during these activities suggests they find simulated violence enjoyable. Director Prill considered this information. Have they shown any actual aggressive behavior toward station personnel? No, Zuri admitted. They have been courteous and compliant. Captain Gardner maintains strict discipline among his people. Then we will continue to observe and learn, Prill decided. The Union Council is very interested in these Deathworlders. They represent something entirely new in our understanding of sapient development. What none of them realized was that Security Officer Delgado was in a maintenance shaft near the command center, installing communication equipment for the human section. He had heard every word. That evening, Delgado reported to Captain Gardner. They're studying us like lab animals. Sir, he said angrily, they call us Deathworlders like it's some kind of disease. Gardner was quiet for a moment. Frank, we've been given refuge, medical care, and promises of help repairing our ship. If they want to study us in return, that seems fair. But the way they look at us, with fear, Gardner interrupted. How would we look at aliens who could lift 3 times their body weight and run twice as fast as us? We're strange to them, Frank. Different, maybe even scary. Our job is to show them there's nothing to fear. Across the station, humans and aliens were learning about each other, step by cautious step. Neither fully understood the other yet, but bridges were being built. The humans didn't know it, but they would soon have a chance to show exactly what being a Deathworlder truly meant. In the darkness of space beyond the station's sensors, a ship waited. Its crew watched the outpost with cold calculation. The purifiers had received word of the Deathworlders' arrival, and they were not interested in building bridges. They were interested in removing a potential threat to the galaxy permanently. 2 weeks passed on Outpost Serenity. The humans settled into a routine, learning about their new surroundings while technicians worked on parts to repair the horizon. Captain Gardner met daily with Station Director Prill to discuss progress and address any issues between humans and aliens. Your people are adapting well, Prill said during one meeting. Better than expected. Humans are good at adapting, Gardner replied. It's one of our strengths. Yes, a Death World trait, Prill said, then noticed Gardner's expression. This term upsets you. It's not upsetting exactly. Just strange to think of Earth that way. To us, it's just home. Prill's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Perspective is everything. To a fish, water is not wet. To humans, Earth is not deadly. In the station's central market area, humans browsed alien goods with curiosity. Most Union food was inedible to humans, and likewise, human food was considered dangerously spicy or acidic to aliens. This didn't stop cultural exchange in other areas. Olivia Wright had become something of a celebrity among alien engineers. They gathered to watch her work on equipment, fascinated by her hands-on approach. Human tools, designed for direct manipulation rather than remote operation, were objects of both fear and fascination. "You use physical force to tighten this connector?" asked a Jonah engineer, watching Wright use a wrench. "It's efficient," Wright explained. "Sometimes the simplest solution is best." Simple, yes. The alien made a gesture that might have been a shudder. Direct, physical. Dr. Russell spent most of his time in the medical center with Thenku, Chief Science Officer Kovacs. They exchanged information about their respective species' biology, each amazed by the differences. "Your endurance is remarkable," Kovacs noted after reviewing. Test results. Humans can sustain physical activity for periods that would kill most Union citizens. "It's called persistence hunting," Russell explained. "Our ancestors chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We evolved to run long distances. You hunted by running after prey until it died?" Kovacs's antennae twitched rapidly. Most Union species evolved from prey animals or omnivorous foragers. The concept of actively chasing another creature to eat it is disturbing. Security Officer Delgado had formed his own connections, working with station security to learn their protocols. The alien security officers were wary of him at first, but his professional demeanor gradually earned their respect. "Your reflexes are impressive," said Lorvik, a reptilian security officer. "Your threat assessment speed exceeds our best officers." "Thanks," Delgado replied, "though I'm not sure how to take being called good at spotting threats." "It is highest praise," Lorvik assured him. "For prey species, threat detection means survival." On the morning of the 18th day, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in all corridors. Captain Gardner was in his quarters when the alert sounded. He rushed to the communication panel. Gardner to command center. "What's happening?" Director Prill's voice came through, higher pitched than normal. "Unknown vessel approaching, not responding to hails." "Attack configuration detected." "Pirates?" Gardner asked. "Worse, purifiers. Radical faction that believes in galactic purity. They target any species they consider unnatural. Like death." "Worlders," Gardner realized. "Precisely. They must have learned of your presence." Gardner's military training kicked in. "What are your defense capabilities?" "Limited. This is scientific outpost, not military installation. We have shield generators, minimal weapons. Standard protocol is evacuation. How long until they arrive? 20 minutes. Not enough time for full evacuation." Gardner made a quick decision. "I'm sending Security Officer Delgado to the command center. My engineer Wright will help reinforce your shields. Dr. Russell will prepare the medical bay for casualties." "Captain," Prill said hesitantly, "this is not your fight." "You saved us," Gardner replied firmly. "We won't abandon you now." Gardner contacted his senior staff and issued orders. Then he addressed all humans through their communication system. "Attention, all Horizon personnel. The station is under threat from hostile forces. These purifiers oppose alien contact and consider us a particular target. Station defenses are limited. I'm asking for volunteers with military or security training to report to Security Officer Delgado. Anyone with medical training, report to Dr. Russell. Engineering experience to Engineer Wright. This is not our station, but these people saved our lives. We will help defend them." Throughout the human quarters, men and women who had signed on as peaceful colonists now prepared to defend their alien rescuers. Former military personnel retrieved emergency equipment. Those without combat. Training organized to protect the children and assist with evacuations. In the command center, Delgado arrived to find chaos. The alien staff moved frantically, their evolutionary instincts driving them to flee rather than fight. He spoke loudly to be heard above the alarms. "Director Prill, I need status reports on the attacking ship and your defense systems." Prill seemed startled by Delgado's calm demeanor. "You are not panicking? This isn't my first emergency," Delgado said. "Now, what weapons do they have, and what do we have?" With Delgado bringing order to the command center, Wright worked with engineering staff to reroute power to the shields. Her direct approach and quick decisions surprised the alien engineers, who were accustomed to committee decisions and careful consensus. "Bypass that safety circuit," she ordered. "We need full power now." "But the protocols," an engineer began. "Will get us all killed," Wright finished. "Sometimes you have to break the rules to survive." In the medical bay, Dr. Russell organized preparation for casualties. The alien medical staff watched in amazement as he quickly established triage protocols and prepared treatment areas. "You have done this before," observed a Venlil doctor. "Emergency medicine was my specialty before I joined the colonial mission." Russell explained. "Prepare for burn treatments and traumatic injuries." As the humans took charge in key areas of the station, the alien staff began to respond to their leadership. The initial fear of the Deathworlders transformed into something new. Hope. The purifier ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the station. It was a black, angular vessel bristling with weapons. A communication came through on all channels. "Attention Outpost Serenity. We are the Purifiers, guardians of galactic purity. We have detected the presence of Deathworld contaminants aboard. Your station. Surrender these abominations or face cleansing." Director Prill looked at Delgado, who stood firm beside the communication console. "They want us to hand over the humans," Prill translated unnecessarily. Delgado's expression hardened. "Tell them that's not happening." Prill hesitated, then straightened to his full height. "This is Director Prill of Outpost Serenity. The humans are under our protection as guests of the Galactic Union. Your threats violate Union law." The response was immediate. "Then you choose destruction." The purifier ship fired its first salvo. The station shuddered as energy weapons struck the shields. In engineering, Wright and her team fought to maintain power. In the medical bay, Russell braced for casualties. Throughout the station, humans prepared for the fight of their lives. The Deathworlders were about to show the galaxy exactly what that term really meant. The purifier ship fired another barrage at Outpost Serenity. The station's shields flickered, but held. In engineering, Olivia Wright worked frantically to maintain power while rerouting energy from non-essential systems. "Shield integrity at 60%, reported a Jonah engineer. "Divert power from the residential sections," Wright ordered. "Keep life support and shields as priorities." In the command center, Security Officer Delgado studied the tactical display with Director Prill and Captain Gardner. "Their attack pattern is predictable," Delgado noted. "They hit the same shield sections repeatedly. Standard purifier tactics," explained Lorvik, the reptilian security officer. "They lack tactical creativity. They rely on superior firepower." "Then we need to be creative," Gardner said. "Do we have any ships docked that can fly?" 3 science vessels and a cargo hauler," Prill replied. "But our pilots are not combat trained." "They don't need to be." Gardner turned to Delgado. "Frank, get our best pilots from the Horizon crew. We'll use the small ships as a distraction, while we figure out a more permanent solution. Asked Delgado. Left to organize the pilots, a new alarm sounded. They're launching boarding craft, Prill announced, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in distress. Where will they dock? Gardner asked. Lower levels, maintenance airlocks. Away from central security. They're trying to infiltrate, Gardner realized. Frank, change of plans. Get our security volunteers to those airlocks. We need to stop them from getting aboard. The situation grew more desperate as the Purifier ship continued its assault. In the medical bay, the first casualties arrived stationed. Personnel injured by systems overloads and minor breaches. Dr. Russell worked calmly, directing his team of human and alien medical staff. Stabilize this patient, he instructed a Venlil doctor who seemed frozen in panic. Focus on the task, not the danger. The Venlil looked at Russell with new understanding. This is how Deathworlders cope? By ignoring danger? Not ignoring, Russell corrected as he treated a burn victim. Compartmentalizing. Deal with the immediate problem first, worry later. In the lower levels, Delgado led a team of former military colonists to defend the maintenance airlocks. They had improvised weapons, tools, pipes, and a few station security. Stun batons. The aliens had been reluctant to arm the humans fully, even in this crisis. Position teams at each junction, Delgado ordered. They'll try to push toward critical systems. We stopped them here. A loud clang echoed through the corridor as the first boarding craft attached to an airlock. The humans took defensive positions, their faces grim but determined. The inner door began to glow red as the purifiers cut through. Steady, Delgado called. Let them come to us. The airlock burst open in a shower of sparks. Armored figures rushed through, weapons raised. They wore full environmental suits with opaque helmets, taking no chances with contamination from the Deathworlders. The first purifiers were met with a barrage of improvised weapons and stunning determination from the humans. What the purifiers had expected to be an easy infiltration became a brutal, close-quarters battle. The humans, products of a high-gravity world with predator-honed reflexes, moved faster and hit harder than the purifiers had anticipated. One purifier raised a weapon toward a young human woman. Before he could fire, she struck with a metal pipe, knocking the weapon aside. Another human tackled the purifier to the ground. Throughout the corridor, similar scenes played out as the humans used their physical advantages, strength, speed, endurance, to counter the purifier's superior weapons. Fall back and regroup, the purifier commander ordered. They retreated through the airlock, sealing it behind them. They'll try another entry point, Delgado told his team. Stay alert. In engineering, Wright had an idea. The purifiers are using standard Union technology, right? She asked a Venlil engineer. Yes, forbidden's modifications, but basic principles are same. Then their shields work on the same frequencies as yours. What if we modulate our station's shield harmonics to match theirs exactly? The Venlil looked confused. That would ... create destructive interference pattern. Both shields could collapse. Exactly, Wright said with a grim smile. Better than sitting here waiting for our shields to fail. The Venlil engineer hesitated. This is very aggressive strategy. Very. Human. Sometimes aggression is necessary for survival, Wright replied. Can you help me make the modifications? After a moment, the engineer nodded. In the command center, Gardner received updates from across the station. The shields were weakening. The purifiers had attempted breaches at 3 locations, but had been repelled by Delgado's teams. Several humans and aliens were wounded, but Dr. Russell reported no fatalities yet. We can't keep this up indefinitely, Gardner told Prill. Has any distress call been answered? Union patrol vessels are responding, but they are hours away, Prill said dejectedly. We must survive until then. A communication came through. From engineering. Wright explained her plan to bring down both their shields and the purifiers simultaneously. If we do this, Gardner said, we'll be vulnerable too. Yes, Wright acknowledged, but they won't expect it. And they'll lose. Their shields first, because of the power differential. We'll have a brief window to hit them with everything we've got. Which isn't much, Gardner reminded her. Actually, Prill interjected, there is one weapon. A gravitational pulse generator for scientific study. At full power, it could disrupt their engines, maybe their life support. That sounds like our best option, Gardner decided. Right, coordinate with Director Prill's staff on the gravitational pulse. We'll time it with your shield disruption. Throughout the station, humans and aliens worked together with new purpose. The initial fear the aliens had shown toward the humans had transformed into respect and even gratitude. The Deathworlders were using their unique abilities not to threaten, but to protect. The plan was set in motion. Wright initiated the shield. Harmonics modulation. As predicted, both shields began to fluctuate and then collapse. The moment the purifier ship's shields failed, the station fired its gravitational pulse. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The purifier ship went dark as its systems failed under the gravitational distortion. Its weapons powered down, and it began to drift. Direct hit, reported a station technician. Their main power is offline. A cheer went up in the command center. Gardner allowed himself a small smile before focusing on the next steps. Re-establish our shields, he ordered, and open a channel to the purifier vessel. When communications were established, Gardner addressed the purifiers directly. This is Captain Eric Gardner of Earth. Your ship is disabled, and Union patrol. Vessels are on their way. Surrender now, and no further action will be taken against you. There was a long pause before a response came. This is not over, Deathworlder. Your kind does not belong among civilized species. And yet, Gardner replied calmly, it was your civilized actions that brought violence to this station, not ours. No further communication came from the purifier ship. 2 hours later, Union patrol vessels arrived and took the purifiers into custody. The danger had passed. In the aftermath, station personnel and humans gathered in the central atrium. Director Prill addressed the assembled crowd. Today we witnessed something extraordinary. When faced with destruction, our human guests did not flee. They stood with us. They fought for us. Prill turned to Gardner. The term Deathworlder was used as classification, perhaps even as subtle insult. Today, it becomes a term of respect. Gardner stepped forward. We come from a world that taught us to survive against the odds. A world where cooperation meant the difference between life and death. We brought those lessons with us to the stars. Zuri, who had remained on the station to study the humans, moved to Gardner's side. The Galactic Union has long avoided worlds like Earth, fearing what might emerge from such harsh environments. We never considered that such planets might produce. Not monsters, but protectors. In the days that followed, repairs continued on both the station and the horizon. The human status within the Union changed rapidly. What had begun as cautious scientific observation became diplomatic overtures. The Union Council, upon reviewing the events at Outpost Serenity, extended an unprecedented offer. Earth would be granted provisional membership status. Captain Gardner stood with his senior staff as they considered the future. They feared what we are, Delgado said. Now they want us as allies. They feared what they thought we were, Dr. Russell corrected. They never considered that the traits that make us dangerous could also make us the best defenders. Engineer Wright nodded. Evolution on a death world didn't just make us strong or fast. It taught us to solve problems, to adapt, to work together against threats greater than ourselves. Gardner looked out at the stars, thinking of Earth so far away, and of all the worlds that now lay open before humanity. They hoped for rescue, he said quietly. Instead came the Deathworlders. And now the galaxy will never be the same.